Hello, besties. It's time for my weekly vlog. Um, got I don't know some life updates. Nothing much is going on. Is this? Do I have these facing a different direction? Yes. Let me quickly show you what the light looks like from this way and go that way. That was going to bother me if I did that. Let's see. Um, so fun things. I have all the pieces for Ring Fit Adventures today. I got this. I got the leg strap, and I got this. So I'm going to try this out. I am, if you did not know this, I was a personal trainer for about 10 years. I'm still certified in precision nutrition level 2. If you want a nutrition coach, I'm not advertising. I'm not taking on people right now unless they like bother me. And it is also the week before Valentine's Day. So I'm going to show you some things that I got just to give you a little bit of flavor. I got, this is about me right now. I'm not running. I got this for my family. I got 3 types of warheads for my wife. I got her favorites. And apparently, my son got me a thing that is paid for myself because he decided he was going to open it, take one of the chocolates out, and then try to wrap it badly together. So he wants me to buy myself a Valentine. And that is what parenting is like. Um, if you didn't watch my vlog about bad art, I got something that arrived. It is called, I got 3 books. Let me go over them real quick. I got the Framed Ink book. This is recommended by the Drawbox people. It is very interesting on how to do things visually. I was always the person that kind of glazed over the art as long as I got the story. Now I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to learn that. So I got the taco books. These are can't really show these because they sometimes show things that are not safe for work in here. But suffice to say that this is a 2-book package. It's just $33. I'm going to basically do every single thing in this till I get good. And in short, I'm going to do a one-shot manga project. I started drawing it using the notes from Taco Book just to see where I'm going with this. I'm just going to do I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a story about a chibi kid who is having a fun adventure. And I don't know if I'm going to have it go anywhere. But basically, I'm going to draw this guy, and he's going to have a silly adventure. And I'm going to do like a 16-pager thing. So the first part is I'm going to draw it all out, sketch it all out, and then I'm going to see how the storyboard works because I'm not sure how to lay it out, and so in doing the project, I'm going to learn storyboarding a little bit better, and that was kind of what Framed Ink was helping me with. I'm going to read that like several times. It's already like my favorite nonfiction book of the year. Um, Actually, no, I like the taco books too. Did I read another one? The High Impact Professional book was also good. But yes, so it is almost Valentine's Day is almost a holiday. Um, I'm having a great time. I have cut down my writing. I'm going to do 1,000 a day. Um, I'm going to keep working on the stuff I'm working on. I'm just not going to be mad at myself if I'm doing 2,000. I'll probably get 2,000 a day today because it's an off day and my son's at school and daughter's not up yet, which is why I'm recording this video um, very early. But yeah, that's what's going on. What do I want to talk about today? Finally watched the Bad Bunny halftime show. Pretty good. Um, Spanish is not that great, but I learned it from Puerto Ricans enough so that I can get by. I am working on Skill Spear. I finished the last book. I'm working on basically the first 5 or 6 chapters are setting up of the second book are setting up the conflict, which is going to spill out. And now I'm like, okay, they're going to spend the first third of the book in the academy learning stuff, and then something's going to happen that's going to cause them to get in the second third, and then the last third, and that's going to be when either the second third or the last third of the book is going to be when the revolution happens, whatever. But I'm already 10,000 words in, and I'm like, okay, there's going to be a lot of narrative summary. I had in my mind that he's going to try to work his way to the top, but now I'm just like, if he's a time looper, he could eventually work his way to the top, but there might not be an opportunity for him to do it the way that I'm thinking, because I haven't really codified how they move up in ranks. But he wants to be valedictorian. So I'm like, okay, well, what does that mean? That means that he's got to do the best on the ending tests. And so the ending tests are going to be like a dueling test, like a fighting test, and then a written test, and then like a practical test, right? And I've got this like Roman-esque society where kind of the point of the academy is to make people that are really strong leaders. So let me back this up. Okay, there's a place. Okay. um, so as you might be aware, I've been a military officer for a while, right? And I like to theory craft things about like what the best kind of training would be to bring somebody up. All right, so there's like 2 to 3 different ones. So I went to officer candidate school, which is a 12-week course for people with a bachelor's degree to become officers. You become commissioned as a second lieutenant, right? That's 12 weeks. Basically, if you can finish a bachelor's degree, the government says, okay, you're smart enough to become an officer. If you can pass the medical and all the other screening stuff, then we will send you to school and we will train you. And then you'll become a basic officer, and then you'll get your specific officer training right after that. Then there's like a school like West Point where you're learning officership for 4 years, and then after that you go to your basic training as an officer, um, and then you go out to the force, right? So like you get your specialty. Like my specialty was quartermaster. I was at quartermaster school for 4 months, learning everything I had to do in case I got, you know, to like basically become proficient in that specific thing. Like there's like the basic officership, and then there's like the specific thing, right? So the school is supposed to teach them basic leadership, right? And I like West Point's 4 years. That's a long time to train somebody for. Um, there's another school called Sandhurst. It's a year-long school. It's for basically every officer in the British Army. And I think that's kind of like what I'm going for here. Sandhurst is like a year-long training that everyone goes through, and then they can become a basic officer. And that's my idea, my thought behind it. I'm also thinking about the Marines. They do OCS for 11 weeks, and they do the basic school for 6 months, right? So like everyone comes in, they have this specific pathway. So everyone knows how to be a leader, everyone knows how to be an officer, because there is not really a formal education system in this world, right? So before there was schools, people had to teach their kids somehow. So they would get like a tutor, or they would teach them themselves, right? So I think that's like the way that we have school now is like a relatively new thing. Like the way that we structure it. And like I don't know, I don't want to go into this like in depth. Suffice to say, I'm an Eganist. I follow the Egan's philosophy on this, um, that we need to teach people through stories and teach people a way that's appropriate for their age, right? But like what I'm trying to do is basically, if we have the kids to learn from their families up to like 10 to 12, and then after that they're going to work. Okay, that is kind of what would make sense for me in a Roman era time frame, right? So like they're learning together, right? And then what I've done is there's 3 branches of the government. There's the regular governance, military, and religion. I've mirrored this from the hierarchy series because it kind of made sense to me. So the government is in charge of like the functioning of the state. The military is in charge of like defense, and then the religion. What I've done and what James Isling did in his book is religion is in charge of the education, right, and other things that are not like specifically governance or specifically military. So the religion owns the academy, and so like there's a bunch of religious orders, but they all come together and say we want to make the best leaders together. So we're going to all come together and pool our resources here, and this way the people that go to the academy, they can kind of pick where they're going to go afterwards. or the various factions within the military or society. They can pick where they're going to go. So like, I don't know if that makes sense. I'm just rambling here about my book, because I am going back. So like, you do that, you go. So like, what I've done is I set up a system where the best and the brightest are sent to here for a year, somewhere between the ages of 15 and 19. And then when they get out, they're expected to become a competent leader or a bureaucrat or administrator, or in some cases, like a faith leader. And then they will go and they will work for an organization, right? The way that the military works right now is there's an order of merit list, right? So like, if you go to West Point and you graduate 900 people, then like there's going to be 900 different branches, 900 different like specialties. Like there's like 18 specialties in the military, that you can base off of, right? And so the first person gets their first choice. So let's say the first person chooses infantry, and the second person chooses armor, or military intelligence, blah blah blah. They go down the line, right? So like the number one guy gets to pick whatever they're doing. And I've done this before in Tales of the River Folk. I did this in there. It's going to be in here where like the number one guy gets whatever he wants, right? But I've also had to limit it because there could be a scenario where someone does really badly in the academy, and then they would go and they would get assigned as a clerical order that they're not a fan of. So I don't know how that's going to work. I think I'll just have to limit the amount of spots. But like, let's say there's like 100 people going to the school, and like there's only 12 spots for religion, right? And then what happened when I went to OCS was that like somebody could put in a packet for a specific branch. They would request a branch to pick them, and the branch could pick them beforehand, before the order of merit list comes out. So OML, order of merit list, just like, hey, number one person in class gets the number one pick. Number two gets whatever the number one didn't pick, and everything else, right? And then the last person gets the last thing, right? And that's kind of like how I like to think of meritocracy, where when you're trying to do civil service, like, okay, the best person should probably pick the best thing for them, right? Because they know what's good for them. But then like the last person, okay, you're still a leader. We're still allowing you to be a part of the government, the military, or the religion, right? But you're not going to get your first pick. You're going to get like what remains. Because like, what do they call the last person? What do they call the person with the lowest GPA in medical school? They call them doctor. What do you call the lowest person? Person with the lowest GPA that graduates from the U.S. military academy. You call them lieutenant, right? So I've got this idea in my head of how he's going to either figure out a way to get the nod that he wants, because let's say he wants to do military or governments, or he's going to get into a situation where somebody wants him to go to a specific thing. Because right now, like, he's going there, he's being sponsored by government, right? So like he caught the eye of a senator. The senator sent him there, and then he also his daughter's going there. So the senator's daughter is watching him, and of course he befriends the senator's daughter, and she's like, you know, my dad wants me to watch you, and he's like, yeah, I know. He wants, and like basically he's like, the daughter expects him to do what his dad says, her dad says, but like, who knows? And I'm rambling about this book. Anyway, Skill Spear, the first book is done. The second book's going into this kind of issues about like proper governance and proper like how do we say this, selection of leaders, right? And like how like a society that's got a lot of oligarchs could do that, but also like fail on other fronts, because there's going to be a lot of failure on that, right? But yeah, so I'm enjoying this. I guess I did not even think that I was going to walk into that discussion right now, but that's what's going on. I'm going to be interviewed by Pop Up, the Pop Up Lit RPG, on March 4th. So when that happens, I don't know, I'll post about it in my Discord server, and then I will reference it when it comes out. But Pop Up's friends of mine. If you're not following his channel, go follow his channel. He interviews authors. I'm going to do some more interviews of my own once I can work out how to do that better. Got a backlog of interviews to do. But yeah, that's what's going on. And I have until April to work on this project, and then I'm going to switch gears. So I'm looking at doing about, what are we on, chapter 56? 94 more chapters ish. First book was 59 chapters. I'm trying to make them around 50. That should be enough. 42 to 50 chapters is about right for me. I try not to be too variable in the length. I'd like them to all look about the same on the shelf, but oh well. 94 chapters left to tell the whole story. About 44 left in this one book, and I kind of know what they're doing next, and I know what book 3 is going to be. So I'm having a good time. So sometimes you got to slow down and reassess what you're doing. And that day for me, that month for me is now. I've got 2 months to finish this project, roughly, and I'm doing it. And what I'll probably do is, as I get close to the end, I'm going to start writing the new stuff when I'm done with the old stuff during the day, because I'm very excited to write, and I'm pretty sure that I'm writing the Wedding Planner Lit RPG. Can't believe I'm saying this, because that was the one that people keep asking me to write. So if you're one of the many hundreds of dozens of people that have told me to write Wedding Planner Lit RPG or Wedding Planner Progression Fantasy, understand that it's coming. The other one, the Monster Rancher thing, is also coming. I just need to know which one I'm doing first. They will probably be in the same world, and they might actually be in the Caravan of Blades world to save me some time. So take that with what you will. So besties, I wish you all the best. Tell your friends and family you love them. Get them a little thing. If they can't do sugar or candy or milk or whatever, get them like a little piece of Legos. My wife got me a little Lego thing. Let me show you. That I'm going to be creating with my kids. And I feel very honored that I got to do that. 216 pieces. Yeah, she gave me work. And that's what being a dad is like. So have a great time, besties.